Hi, my name is Marcus, and I'd like to talk a little bit about value today. Value is something that I've struggled with in my life. I remember growing up being bullied and then also trying to fit in with the crowd. I remember at one point some of my friends said, "Hey, Marcus, he cusses more than the rest of us, and he claims to be a Christian." There was also times where I did some things that I wish I wouldn't have done. I remember when I was in first grade, I was there at a sledding party, and we had a snowmobile, and this guy got me on the snowmobile, and I pulled the throttle back just a little bit too much, and I ran it into the teacher's car. I actually didn't tell my teacher that I did it till just a few years ago, so I felt so bad about that. And I remember maybe a couple of years before that, I had a dog named Bismarck. And I really loved this dog. She would push a ball around the yard with her nose, and just we had a lot of good times. I remember one day that my neighbors were throwing sticks and pine cones and rocks at her. And I remember going and telling my parents, but nothing really happened. One day, my family was coming back for a walk around the block, and our dog got out. And guess who was out there as well? Our neighbors. And she went up and bit one of our neighbors. And so then that evening there was discussion about having to put my dog down. Well, long story short, our dog was put down, but the neighbors got a dog. And I remember one day going over to the fence, grabbing a large rock and dropping it on that dog. And we're running to the garage and freaking out, but I didn't know what to do at that point because I had done something I shouldn't do. And I remember the neighbors running out, and I never saw the dog again. I also didn't tell anybody about that until a few years ago because I was worried that people would see me as different. I thought my value was wrapped up in that. You know, a lot of times we are concerned about our value. Sometimes people say, well, it's what you accomplish. You know, if you're a workaholic, then you really get stuff done. Then you're valued. But we're not valued upon that stuff. For a long time, I've dealt with depression and fought with this idea of, am I worth something? Am I valued? The Bible tells us that we are. In fact, in Romans chapter 5, it's interesting what it says here. Romans chapter 5, starting verse 6, when we were utterly helpless, Christ came at just the right time and died for us sinners. Now, most people would be willing to die and not be willing to die for an upright person, though someone might perhaps be willing to die for a person who is especially good. But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. So while I had done these things, running into this car, killing this dog probably, and many other things in my life, God still loved me enough to send his son for me. It says there, while we were yet sinners. In fact, it goes later on to say that while we were in rebellion, as we were enemies with God, Christ died for us. And so I want to encourage you, no matter if you've done a good thing or bad thing, whether you've been productive or not, whether you have great accomplishments, whether you're popular or not, that you have value. Never forget that, because you have value because God loves you and Christ came to die for you.